For 8.5 years, Dave Kindig showed up to his day job at a coatings company in Salt Lake City, did his work, collected his paycheck, and then went home and built an entirely different career in secret. That person is Dave Kindig, the founder of one of the most respected custom car shops in America and the star of 11 seasons of Bitchin' Rides on Motor Trend TV. But the version of Dave Kindig that millions of viewers came to know was built on a foundation that almost nobody saw coming. Because for nearly a decade, Dave was quietly operating two careers at once, and his employer had no idea that the drawings hanging on the office walls were the early blueprint for everything that came after. The question is, what was he actually building during those years? And why did the moment he finally walked away from that job change the entire course of his life? The first clue is in where this story starts. Dave Kindig grew up poor in the Rose Park neighborhood of Salt Lake City. No father in the home, no money, no garage full of tools. His early exposure to cars came entirely from Hot Wheels toys and Lego sets. He said it himself in a local interview. Growing up very poor, it was easy for me to imagine having more than I had because I had nothing. Here is the detail that changes how you understand everything that followed. Dave Kindig is not primarily a mechanic, he is a designer. By age 17, he was chopping up Volkswagen Beetles, self-taught, watching other people work, then going home and practicing the same moves on his own cars. A line of people formed. They wanted him to do their cars next. He had no credentials, no certificate, no training. What he had was a sketchbook and an eye for proportion he had been sharpening since age 5. But none of that explains how a self-taught kid from a poor neighborhood ends up winning the most prestigious award in the entire custom car world. That answer runs straight back through those years of double life that Dave Kindig almost never talks about. In 1991, Dave Kindig took a job at High Performance Coatings in Salt Lake City. He was around 20 years old. The work involved automotive finishing, paint systems, coatings, surface preparation. On paper, it was a steady paycheck for a young man who had grown up without much. What almost nobody realized is what Dave was doing with the access that job gave him. High Performance Coatings was a place where the automotive world passed through regularly. Builders, designers, fabricators, the kind of people Dave had been quietly studying his whole life. He described his method simply. He surrounded himself with people who could do things he couldn't yet do, watched them carefully, and went home and practiced until he could do it himself. But he was also drawing. Dave was producing detailed car renderings, full design illustrations of custom vehicles, and putting them up on the walls of his office at High Performance Coatings. These were not doodles, they were professional quality sketches of cars that didn't exist yet. Industry visitors to the office started noticing them. They asked who drew them. Some of those visitors became clients. That is the moment the double life became real. Dave had a full-time job and a growing private clientele at the same time. One of his earliest documented design commissions came from Arizona Speed and Marine, who hired him to design their 1999 Chevrolet Silverado, a project that was eventually featured in Truckin' magazine. He was still on the payroll at High Performance Coatings when that happened. His close friend Kevin Schiele, who later became shop foreman at Kindig-It Design and a regular face on Bitchin' Rides, worked at High Performance Coatings alongside Dave during this period. Schiele confirmed it directly in an interview. Dave was already doing his renderings back before he left. 8.5 years, that is how long Dave Kindig ran both careers simultaneously. So what finally made him quit? The answer involves his wife. Dave had married Charity Kindig on July 11, 1992, 1 year into his time at High Performance Coatings. They had met at a dance club in Salt Lake City when Charity was still in high school. She shared his passion for cars, but shared passion does not pay the mortgage. When Dave kept bringing up quitting his day job to build custom cars full-time, Charity was not immediately convinced. Dave described this moment in plain terms. He said he bugged her about it for so long that she eventually told him, "Just go do it." In June 1999, 2 weeks after the birth of their son, Dave Kindig quit his job, cashed out his 401k, which had grown to approximately $4,800, and launched Kindig-It Design out of his garage. $4,800. That was the entire financial foundation of what eventually became one of the most recognized custom car operations in the United States. Dave put it simply, "I came from nothing. I knew it was going to happen before I even started because I wasn't going to accept anything other than that." The garage lasted 2 months. Demand came faster than the space could handle. Dave and Charity leased a 4,500 square foot building in the southeast part of Salt Lake City and went to work. Their first major project was unusual. An underwear company called Uglies hired them to hand paint each panel of a PT Cruiser with patterns from their product line. It was not a classic car, but it got covered in local newspapers, and that coverage brought more attention than any traditional marketing could have. What most people don't realize about that early period is this. Kindig-It design had no television deal, no national profile, and no industry fame outside Utah. Everything Dave would eventually be known for was still entirely underground. For the first 13 years of Kindig-It design's existence, 1999 through 2012, there was no camera anywhere near the shop. That changes how you understand the man. The version of Dave Kindig that most people encountered through Bitchin' Rides was a finished product. By the time the cameras arrived, he had already been running a professional custom shop for over a decade. He had won the GM Design Award in 2007. He had won the 2012 Master Builder Award and the 2013 Ford Design Award. His shop had grown from a leased 4,500 square foot space into a facility running 16 to 20 cars at a time. The moment that put him on television came in 2013, when a segment on a program called My Classic Car showcased two of his builds, a custom Cadillac and a Bel Air. A producer took notice. By 2014, Bitchin' Rides was in production. The show premiered on September 7, 2014, on the Velocity TV network and immediately became its most popular series. One thing set it apart from almost every other car program on television. Dave refused to manufacture conflict. The crew did their work. The cameras followed. No scripted arguments, no artificial drama. That approach, showing real craftsmanship without staged tension, turned out to be exactly what a large audience was looking for. What the show also revealed, quietly, was a family business that had been assembling for years while no one was watching. Charity, who had co-founded the company and started as its secretary, was now vice president. Their daughter Bailey had started working at the shop at 16 and eventually took over the company website. Their son Moses joined as a designer. The business Dave had spent 8.5 years quietly building on the side had become a full family operation before a single camera ever entered the building. In March 2024, at the 71st Annual Detroit Autorama, Dave Kindig achieved something that had stayed out of reach through his entire television career. The Don Ridler Memorial Award is the highest honor in custom car building. Awarded annually since 1964, it carries one strict rule: the car must make its absolute public debut at the show. No in-progress photos, no public renderings, no previews of any kind. The car must also start, run, and drive into its show position under its own power. Judges select 8 finalists, the Great 8, and one winner is announced on the final afternoon. Dave had reached the Great 8 before. The Ridler itself had not come. The build that finally won it was called 12 Air. Its owner was Dave Maxwell of Pittsburgh, a man who ran a construction company and owned car and boat dealerships. The project had taken 4.5 years to complete. Based loosely on a 1953 Corvette, 12 Air shared almost nothing with the original except inspiration. Every body panel was hand-formed from aluminum, not fiberglass, not steel. The roof carried a double bubble design. The tail referenced Aston Martin. The headlights referenced the Porsche 911. Under the hood was a custom-built, naturally aspirated 9.2-liter LS V12 engine, built specifically for this car by Racecast Engineering and linked to a Corvette C7 transaxle. The wheels were one-off designs created by Dave Kindig himself. When 12 Air was announced as the winner, Dave described the award as the culmination of 25 years of work, not hyperbole. He meant the 25 years that started in a garage with $4,800, running parallel to a day job nobody knew about, through 13 quiet years of building a reputation before television arrived, through prior Grade 8 appearances that fell just short, right up to this moment in Detroit. Dave Maxwell, the owner, was asked what winning meant to him. He said, "I let them do their thing. I gave them some ideas and just let them go, and they hit everything right on." Just months after winning the Ridler, Dave Kindig made a public announcement on Facebook. On November 1, 2024, he confirmed that Bitchin' Rides was ending. Season 11, which premiered March 12, 2025, would be the final one. The reason was not creative. In 2022, Warner Media and Discovery had merged to form Warner Bros. Discovery. As part of the consolidation that followed, Motor Trend Plus was shut down in early 2024, and Bitchin' Rides, more than 146 episodes across 11 seasons, broadcast internationally under different titles including Salt Lake Garage in Italy and Kindig Customs in other markets, was concluded as part of that restructuring. Dave's response was direct. He launched Kindig All Access, an official YouTube channel run by Kindig-It Design. He described its purpose precisely: to show the decisions, the details, the problem-solving, and the craftsmanship that happens every day inside the shop, with nothing between the build and the viewer. It is a move that makes complete sense when you understand how he got here. Dave Kindig spent 8.5 years doing serious work inside a company where almost no one outside the industry could see it. He spent 13 more years building a nationally respected shop before any camera arrived. He spent over 2 decades chasing the Ridler before winning it. The work has always come before the recognition, and at 54, with the television chapter closed and the shop still running at full capacity, that pattern is not changing. Shorty, Corides, the version of Dave Kindig that most people met on television was never the beginning. It was the product of a very long runway that almost nobody saw. He is currently continuing Kindig-It Design's build program while developing the Kindig All Access YouTube channel, giving fans direct access to the shop in a way a television network never fully could. The family business, Charity as vice president, Moses as designer, the broader Kindig crew intact, remains one of the most respected operations in American custom car culture. What Dave Kindig's story really asks is a simpler question about patience. He spent the better part of a decade working his day job, drawing cars on the side, and building a clientele in near total silence before he ever made the jump. Looking back at that period now, would you have had the patience to stay, keep your head down, and trust that the work would eventually speak for itself?